Now, Washington Mornings on the Mall.
105.9 FM.
And AM 630.
WMAL.
8:07 on WMAL. Brian Neiman, Brian Wilson, the U.S. Ambassador Chris Stevens to Libya, killed when a mob basically jumped over the consulate walls and attacked our embassy there. There was also a similar attack in Cairo yesterday as well. It all apparently stems over this, quote, anti-Muslim movie which pokes fun at the Prophet Muhammad. It's on YouTube, and it has sparked these attacks against Americans, and it has killed at least 3 Americans, maybe more, including the ambassador, Chris Stevens. So we'll continue to follow this story for you, and we have former UN Ambassador John Bolton come on the show at 8:30.
He's going to be joining us at 8:30.
Right now we're pleased to have D.C. Councilman Jack Evans on the line. Councilman Evans, good to have you back on the show. How are you?
I'm great, thank you. It's glad to be on the show. Thank you.
A lot of stuff we want to get to, but I do want to start off with this controversy between Metro and the Washington Nationals. And the Nationals have said that they don't want to pay for any kind of overtime service if the game goes late. The playoffs are coming up. Many people expect that it will go past midnight when Metro stops its service. Metro has said it would cost up to about $30,000 an hour to run the trains past midnight. And now we've learned that it's actually Major League Baseball that doesn't want the Nationals to pay. Why won't Major League Baseball? What is their point of view on this? And where do you stand on who should pay if the game runs past midnight and Metro needs to do some overtime?
Well, from what I understand from Major League Baseball is they are concerned about a precedent being established with other cities. So if the Nationals were to pick up the tab here, what about Atlanta? What about Boston? What about San Francisco if playoff games or late games occur there? So it's a position they have. I don't necessarily agree with that position, but it's a position that they are taking. And of course, the Nationals are trying to figure out what to do given Major League Baseball's position. What I'm trying to do is work out a compromise so that we can get through this playoff season. Because you're right about the fact that the games are probably going to run late.
Yeah.
And I want to make sure that all of the residents in the metropolitan region, and keep in mind, they're largely people from Maryland and Virginia riding the subway back home again, make sure that they can get home again. And frankly, I have a bigger issue as well. After the game is over, I want people to stay around in the district and celebrate the wins.
Right.
Go to the bars, go to the restaurants. I don't want people making a mad dash to the Metro. So I'll be trying to figure out how we can compromise, keep Metro open as late as we need it.
All right, but if I'm Daniel Snyder or if I'm, Ted Leonsis and I have to pay because the Nationals or the Redskins and the Wizards and the Capitals all wind up paying extra if it is needed, if their games go past midnight, then I look at this and say, well, if the Nationals aren't going to pay, why should I have to pay?
And that's a very good point. And that's why we need a longer-term solution. And, I'll be honest, I used to be chairman of the board of Metro twice back in the 90s. The city was a different time back then in the metropolitan region than it is today. We're a big league town now. And our subway system, frankly, not only because of sporting events, should stay open past midnight. We're not, Cleveland or someplace like that. And frankly, I'll be talking to people at Metro, at the city, and in the region about funding Metro so we stay open till 1 or 2 in the morning when all of the restaurants and bars close, so that we don't have these issues in the future. And so that would address the Redskin and Cap and Wizards problem. And the second thing on that is the Nationals with the baseball, we're likely to have anywhere between 1 and 11 playoff games. Mm-hmm. With the Wizards, the Caps, and the Nationals, you just don't have that many games going into overtime and keeping the subway open. So it's a little bit of a different situation.
Well, the first thing, what do you have against Cleveland? But I'll let that pass. Look, I mean,
there's not a lot of nightlife in Cleveland.
When you're really talking about, when you're talking about big city budgets and big metro budgets, you're not talking about a tremendous amount of money. Here's my idea, and I just throw it out for your consideration because you're a man who could take this and run with it. There are a lot of people that are not very happy about these red light cameras and the speed cameras and all that kind of stuff. But couldn't you take say $1 million out of the money you make off that and put it toward that issue so that none of the major sports teams would have to pay, and perhaps we could have a first class, as you say, metro system that actually met the needs of the people?
Yep, no, it's an excellent idea, except I get a lot of complaints, and that's something we're looking at again, of reducing those $250 fines that people are getting now.
Well, how about reducing the number of cameras?
Yeah, and the number of cameras as well.
Well, I mean, I don't mean to divert you, but I mean that has been, we hear from people all the time, and it's been something we talk about on this program virtually 2 or 3 times a week. People are getting really irritated about the number of cameras. I mean, I often say, Councilman, that I hesitate to go downtown now. I don't want to go downtown and spend my entertainment dollars, because if I don't drive every intersection absolutely perfect, if somebody stops short and I get caught in the intersection, I'm going to get a $250 ticket. And at some point, I have to weigh whether it makes sense for me to invest my time to go downtown when I can stay in other places and not take that risk.
Or go to Cleveland, for that matter.
Yeah, I go to Cleveland. I get on Southwest Airlines, go to Cleveland. That's right.
No, but you're absolutely right. We have a task force, I hate to use that word, on the council looking at this, but it's something that we're going to address in the upcoming budget, is to reduce these fines and reduce the number of cameras so that we don't have the aggravation. Listen, we all fall into that category, this aggravation. Just when the town is doing great and we're getting people to come, the government throws up a roadblock, and that's what I